All right, today we're watching Grant Cardone talk about his 4 steps to real wealth. You know, the jets, the yachts, all of that nonsense. Now, I run actual businesses, so when I hear stuff like this, I'm not just listening. I'm thinking about how it actually plays out when you try it. Because a lot of this stuff you hear sounds good, but it doesn't mean that it actually works. Let's go through this, see what's actually useful, and what's just talking to talk. Let's get started.
Hey guys, Grant Cardone here, and if you're committed to wealth and creating this kind of lifestyle, I'm gonna share with you 3 things that you have to do in order to create this kind of lifestyle. Now, if you don't want this, the jet life, the yacht life, you don't want to travel with your family for 2 or 3 weeks in the Mediterranean, go wherever you want, pay the bill and not worry about it, and not have stress, don't follow me in this message. But if you do, come to the back of the
Obviously a great intro for the type of people that are going to click on this video. You know, 4 steps to create real wealth. Now, do you think he's actually going to give tips on how to create real wealth, on how to, grow something? Or do you think he's going to give tips that make no sense? In my opinion, with this intro, it hooks people that, have these big goals and big dreams. And he does this a lot. A lot of people on this, type of content do the same thing where they promise you these big goals and these big dreams that you have and how they're going to solve it for you. But let's see if you can actually back it up with any information that would help, the typical person that is trying to build something or grow this real wealth, as he says.
The 3 things you got to do. Number 1, prior to the 3 things, you got to make a commitment. You got to say, I want this lifestyle. Okay, if you want it, you can have it. I'm telling you, anybody can have this. I started with no money, no leadership, no direction, no guidance, no mentor. Lost my dad when I was 10 years old. We didn't have any money. I was in credit card debt when I was 30 years old, about $30,000. Started my first business, had no clue what I was doing, and would do that for the next 22 years, working my ass off. Now, here's the problem.
Step 1, just what you guys would have thought, you have to want it. You have to have the mindset to want it. So step 1 is a mindset answer. You have to be in the mindset to want to be wealthy. Okay, so if you clicked on this video, obviously you want to be wealthy. Now he's gonna probably, make the point, well, you can't just want it, you have to actually want it. Like, you have to actually do the work for it. That's what these people say. And while I agree with it, is it useful? Does it give anybody the skills or tips on how to actually do anything? No, it doesn't. It's just talking to talk. It's talking to give people motivation, not talking to actually teach anybody how to do these things. So overall, Grant Cardone, definitely very successful. He's definitely done very well for himself. Everything he says, it's not untrue, but he makes a lot of his money by selling the dreams and the idea that you can be rich. That's how he makes a lot of his money, as well as real estate and whatnot. He's not a con artist, is what I'm trying to say.
I was committed, but I didn't have, number 1, you got to have a wealth plan. There's got to be a plan. What's the number? What's the number you need for net worth, for income, for expenses? How are you avoiding taxes? What is the plan? Who's going to be the succession if you actually make it, okay?
Okay, kind of an odd take. How are you going to avoid taxes? Maybe this video is meant for the people that are already rich, but for most people, you're not trying to avoid taxes at this, level of income. You're trying to build more income. So yeah, you have to have a plan. Yeah, you have to have the mindset. But this is the same thing everybody says.
Very beginning, okay, if you're starting a business or you're just getting started, the money's going to come in and then you're going to spend most of it probably trying to double down or create a new business, or you're going to make investments, or you're going to buy real estate like I did, or you're going to find some place to move the money. But one, you have to have a plan. Once you have a...
I do think this is a good point. You do have to have a plan when you're starting a business, when you're growing income. You have to understand where that money is coming in, how much it is, and where it's going. That I definitely agree with. Now let's see what he has to say about the plan.
Commitment. Then you got to have a plan and you got to stand on the plan. Now, I operate with an 80-20 rule. I'll attach this to you. It's called the 10X Wealth Plan. The 80-20 rule basically suggests that I'm going to live off of 20% of my income. If I make 10 grand a month, I'm going to live off of 2 grand. It's very, very difficult to do this. This is only for the freaking crazies. I mean, you got to be a nutcase to say, I'm going to do this. But if you did it, suffering's immense, by the way.
Interesting point. Very difficult. It's actually, like he says, for the crazy. It's actually meant for the people that live in their mom's basement. So I think this point is kind of ridiculous. As far as 80/20 goes, if you were making $15,000 a month, which most people are not making $15,000 a month, especially the people he's trying to cater to. If you're making $15,000 a month, you'd only be able to spend $3,000 a month. That's, between rent, utilities, mortgage, food. Most people, if they live on their own, are spending $2,500 to $3,000 a month alone. So in order to follow this rule, if you wanted to live on 20% of your income, you'd have to make $15,000. Most people are probably only making $6,000 to $7,000. Sorry. Most people are only making $6,000 to $7,000, which means if they were only going to spend 20% of their income, then they would only have about $1,200 to $1,400 a month. That, for most places today, might only cover rent or doesn't even cover rent. So I don't. This makes almost no sense for the majority of people. Maybe if you're making $20,000 to $25,000, this could make sense, and you can live off of $4,000 to $5,000 a month, or you live in your mom's basement, or you rent a room for basically nothing. Is it good advice? Technically, yes. If you could invest the other 80% into making more money, this would be a great idea. But once again, it's talking just to talk. As far as realistically, this is very unrealistic until you are making a good amount of money.
To live off of 20% of your income. You still got taxes, still got expenses, still got rent. You're going to take 80%, you're going to start investing it in assets that cannot go backwards and that cash flow. So first thing, you need a plan. What's your plan? Is it 80/20, 60/40? Is it 40/60? Is it just a consumer plan, or just I want to get a little better plan? Okay, or is it a wealth plan? Okay, second thing you got to do is you got to make sure everybody on the page in your environment, your accountant, your legal, your wife, your husband, whoever it is on the same plan with you. If they're not on the same plan, my wife has a 10X wealth plan and I have a 10X wealth plan. We need to merge those two plans together. So you got to merge the thinking.
I do agree that the people around you, the people that are close to you, need to be on the same level as you. If you're trying to, make it, you're trying to work hard, they have to be on the same level. They can't be tearing you down. They can't be sabotaging you. Number two, good point so far. Let's see if he screws it up.
Of the people involved in spending money and earning money and attracting money, so that you don't have one of you saying, I want the jet life, and the other one says, I don't care. By the way, that's a massive problem. Now, I've seen more couples.
Okay, not necessarily a massive problem. You should be on the same page that, I'm working hard, I want this, but both people in the other people in your life don't all have to want the jet life. Okay. They can support you in your goals and not tear you down or sabotage you, but the idea that, if one person, husband, wants to, be a multimillionaire, and the wife, wants to have a good amount of money, but she doesn't want to have a private jet, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't have to get a divorce and then, leave your kids. So I understand what he's trying to say, but once again, he's saying it in a way that makes it much, much bigger and more, heavy hitting. So you keep watching it. It feels, like it hurts deeper in you.
Resolve that issue. 10X wealth plan than any other single thing. All the therapy in the world will not solve your husband or your wife saying, I don't need any more. When you need more, you got separation and you got problems. Number three, you need to get close to the action, to the thing you want. Okay? If you want a car, go touch the car. But understand that that car might be a block to you getting this. You're going to have to surrender something along the way, and you can't say what you don't want until you touch it. And you can't have what you do want until you actually touch it. You might say, I don't need the yacht life. Maybe, but maybe it's because you've never been on one. Maybe you don't need to fly private. Maybe you've never flown a private, but once you did, you'd be like, wow, dude, I want this life. My point is this.
Okay. At first, I was a little confused what he was trying to say. I do agree that you need to go out and experience things in your life. People change when they're growing up. The things you think you do want and the things you think you don't want are definitely going to change as you grow up. You're going to have new experiences. You're going to experience different things, and everybody changes. You might, in the future, want something different than what you want now. So I do agree with him that you have to go out and you have to have experiences. I think that's what he's trying to say. He's saying it in not a very good way, in my opinion, but I'll be nice to Grant today with this point and say, you have to go out and experience things that you'll learn a lot more about yourself. You'll learn what you want in life. You'll learn what you want for your future when you go out and experience things. So I do agree with Mr. Cardone here with what he's trying to say.
Get close to things you want and inspect it. Check it out. I have chartered 4 years in a row on a boat. I'd like to buy a boat one day. But the first thing I do before I buy one is I get closer to it, check it out, learn about it, investigate it, see if I really love and like it, okay? What's the cost if I own one? Look, once you buy something like this, you can't get rid of it. Same thing with the car, same thing with the house, same thing with sending your kids to college. It might sound like a good idea, but is it really worth it, okay? So 3 things you gotta do. 4 things actually. You gotta commit. Number 2, you gotta figure out what your wealth plan is gonna be, commit to that. 3, get everybody merged on the same page. And the last one, number 4, I said number 3, I said 3, but I'm gonna give you 4. And number 4, you gotta make sure to get closer to the things you want. If you wanna be in France,
Okay, so I agree. Number 4 kind of changed a little bit. He says you have to get closer to the things you want. I think what he meant to say and kind of what he was trying to explain, like I was saying, is you have to go and live your life and explore and do different things to actually realize what you want. And then his other point was when you do figure out what you want, you do have to kind of surround yourself with those things. Not necessarily be around cars, but when you want to be wealthy, you do have to surround yourself with wealthy people or people that are motivated or people that are doing what you want. So I do agree with that point. I think that is the only good point that he said, and he said it in a poor way. But overall, yes, you do want to be around people that are going, in the direction that you want to go as well, because most people tend to be like, the 5 people that they hang around with the most. So if you put yourself around, if you're just working a job and you want to quit your job, you want to grow a business, you want to go around people that own small businesses that have quit their job and are working hard to grow something. And then you'll be more motivated. And not only more motivated, you'll learn things that you wouldn't learn just at your job. So Mr. Grant Cardone, good advice. Learn how to say it in a way that would help the people that are actually listening to the video.
your first trip, go to France, check it out, get closer to it. You can do that on the internet. You can check it out by getting closer to the target, to the thing that you want. If it's money, cars, things, stuff, girls, boys, investigate and close the target between you and the thing you want. Until then, grab the 10X Wealth Plan. It's a great way for you to get started figuring out what your wealth plan is, what your net worth can be, what your earning needs to be, your passive income, different forms of income, and how you're going to succeed and lead this to the next generation, okay? Enjoy yourself. Can't wait to see you next time in the Mediterranean.
Obviously, he had to do a little pitch at the end. I respect the hustle. I would like to see some more videos where they don't plug it, where they just give you the genuine, like they give you the genuine advice as if they care about you and they're trying to help you, not just trying to sell something. Overall, not a great video. I didn't hear any crazy advice like I hear, sometimes from Grant, sometimes from other people. Very generic steps, very generic advice that he gave. You have to believe, you have to put yourself in the mindset. Okay, very generic. You have to surround yourself with people. The only good advice he gave, which I kind of gave that advice better than he did. No offense, sorry, I don't mean to brag or anything, but overall, I'd say as far as advice that would help you out if you're trying to start a business, trying to grow a small business, I would say this advice is probably a 2 or a 3 out of 10. Maybe a 4 out of 10 because that last point, number 4, that is genuinely a good point that I think a lot of people ignore. They don't think that they have to surround themselves with people that are, with the things and the lifestyle and the people that are doing what they want in the future. That is probably one of the biggest things that people do wrong is they surround themselves with a bunch of broke people with poor mindsets, people that, feel like they're very depressed and they can't make it. That's one of the actual biggest reasons why people get stuck in this this loop of feeling, down about themselves. Then they feel motivated and they want to do something. Then they're down again. It's because they're always around people that are down and don't believe in themselves, don't push to do something. Even if it's friends, family, sometimes you just have to separate yourself away from that a little bit. Be around people you want to be like. But make sure you guys stay tuned to the next video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Helps out a lot. Stay tuned.